This is the last week on our four-part series of Image and Colorism. And in this episode, I call it, Is There Life Outside the Color Box? So, loving the skin you're in despite racism and colorism. That's what I basically wanted to end with, to show there are some who actually love and appreciate their skin tone, which they should. We all should, no matter what skin you're in, whether you are considered whatever the different names they give to the different shades. We are beautiful women, and you should always consider yourself as such. One is not better than the other. We need to teach society that.
I remember when we shot that, and I really didn't know what it was going to look like until I saw it back. And I remember saying to Ava, or maybe you've heard me say this before because I've described that scene as like, I've never seen myself look so pretty. Because me being so chocolate in my life, when I was younger, I looked to Viola and Angela and women who looked like me because they were doing it. And when I saw that back after when Ava screened that and we saw it, I think I went up, I said, I can't even talk about it now because I still get emotional. But I had never seen my skin in that hue and my hair. And she can be all up in my kitchens because I trust Ava with my kitchen. I trust her with my kitchen. So it was a beautiful moment for me to see myself and then embrace it, because I had to embrace it too, and go, that's what you look like. There's no filter on these beautiful hues you see. So it was beautiful to have a moment with that and really embrace it. It took me a minute to take it in. It really did. I was very surprised that it was so pretty. I keep using the word pretty because it was just pretty. The whole show was pretty. I was like, we're pretty. The grass is pretty.
And when you speak on a topic, it hits you first. It heals you first. And I've had to dealt with a lot of racism and a lot of colorism throughout my entire life, almost 70 years that I'm pretty much been on this planet. And so these are books that I wrote a while back. One is Why I Should Hate Men But Don't. That was a healing I had to go through from different things I encountered, and to understand the racism, colorism I dealt with. Same thing, and Will Work for Food, Family, and Freedom. I actually need to do another sequel to that one because that one was from a while back, and so much has happened since then. So there are another book coming, at least one. And the other one, I'm going to encourage young women or just women of color to actually get this one, Spiritual Cosmetics for the Soul, because the whole point is that we're so focused on our external, our makeup and what we look like, and the image and the self-image, what I've been talking about this whole time. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But remember, we are not just the external of what people see. We are spirit, mind, and body. Spirit first, then mind, and then body. And I was reminded of that by one of our tribal members, Juliana, who put it so expertly. spirit, mind, and body. And so it's not just our external, our body. That, in fact, that should be the least that you should be focused on as far as what you adorn, what you put on, and how you look. It's what's inside of you. And that's what the whole point of spiritual cosmetics for the soul. We want to be beautiful from the inside out. And with that, I thank you all so much for putting up with me these past 4 weeks, and know that I love all of you. And as I said before, I only have so much time on this planet. I have so many other things that are coming, other videos, but the focus is on healing and reaching the least common denominator, and that is the melanated people because of our situation as a whole. It's putting together a puzzle. And when you put together a puzzle, you have to put like pieces first and then like other like pieces next. And the same thing when it comes to your body. If your stomach hurts, why would you focus on your toes? Or if you have, when you go to emergency room, which when I was pre-med, I volunteered a long time ago in the emergency room. And if you have somebody come in with a paper cut, why would you focus on that individual first when you have someone who has a gunshot wound? Okay, so keep that in mind, that I love all of you. If you're on this planet and you're a living being, that means I love you. God bless you. Peace and love. Peace and love.
Excellent. And we love you too, Dr. Maylo. Thank you so much. Thank you for all the time, energy, wisdom, all of the resources, all the researching, all of the hours and hours and hours I can definitely attest to that you have put into this 4-week presentation. We love you so much. Thank you so much for this, for sharing this 4-week series for us. We are super and eternally grateful for you. And we definitely would love to open up the floor to any comments, any questions anyone has, anything you would love to share. The floor is open for you to please do so. And I just wanted to say regarding the, Michaela Angela Davis, she's the one that was the host of the Urban World clip that you shared, Dr. Maylo. And, she's an author and activist. And it really shocked me the first time I saw that, because I look at her as they consider, just using their words, like a Black power, pro-Black type person. And just to see that the colorism is so strong and so deep, even if it's subconsciously, it can still come out with our words and things we say. And I just was amazed at how she was, had her own words, how she was obsessing over the hair texture of the lighter skinned actress Dawn Lynn, who was actually half Asian, half melanated in real life. And, how she was obsessing with her hair texture, the curly hair. But then for Rutina Wesley, it was saying that, she also focused on Kofi, the actor, the male actor, and how gorgeous he was being dark skinned. But with Rutina, it was, quote, radical. She never said that she was pretty or that she was beautiful. She just said, well, God made you. You didn't do that either. But I never heard her say you're beautiful, you're gorgeous, or that your hair texture is beautiful and gorgeous. She said, it's radical to see ourselves, to look at your skin. It's radical to look at your hair and skin. It's beautiful. And that's just amazing, that contrast in between what she said about Kofi, the male, versus what she said about Rutina, the female. It just blows my mind, how people, just what's incorporated, what's ingrained sometimes in us, even if it's subconscious. And, when I was in 2019, I was dealing the World Series of Poker in Vegas, and I dealt with a Dominican girl. She was brown skinned, gorgeous, beautiful girl. And she told me that one of the Caucasian players told her, oh, you're beautiful for a dark skinned girl. And this is 2019. And it blew my mind that people still speak that way. They still say those things. They still have that 1800 mentality. I mean, that just blows my mind. But for people out there that say, oh, this isn't true, there's no image, there's no colorism, all you have to do is look at the media, look at the way their people are presented, look at who's not, who is. Just look at the media, and then look at like what you presented, the $1 billion industry of skin lightening products. To this day, to this hour, people are lightening their skin because they don't want that gorgeous melanin. There's something wrong, and so that's obviously it's still a problem. So again, thank you so much, Dr. Maylo, my mother, my mom, Dr. Maylo. So proud of you. So blessed to have you. So grateful for you, and thank you for all the time you put into this presentation. It's much needed.
Thank you.
No,
Appreciate that.
And so I just want to yield the floor. I see our brother Mark, Sister Carmela. Please, if you have any comments, anything you'd like to share, we would love to hear from you.
I'm not even sure.
I'll interject a couple things. So most of the time, well, I'm not gonna say most of the time. All of the time for me, I like to speak from experience and what I've observed or I've dealt with. So I spent two different times. I think the first time was 8 months, second time was about a year in the Philippines. And the natural people of the Philippines, and we're talking about when you go back, they call them the Negros. They are very dark. You would think they were from Africa. They're very short, but they stay up in the mountains. So the Aboriginal people of the Philippines are very dark. But when you're in the Philippines and you're in Metro Manila, you know, you're not in Cebu or the outskirts or the many islands that they have. Most of the people are light, and they're light because everything that they sell them has whitening cream in it, from the soap, from the lotion, from the alcohol, everything that they use. And that's been portrayed to them because of being a country that doesn't have really natural resources and money. They have to get it from the outside. So everything has to be brought to them, and they're paid for. China sends their garbage to the Philippines, right? But the Chinese are taking over, and the American buildings that was there, because at the time I opened two call centers for American Express in the Philippines. So I had to go through culture training with them. But the big companies like American Express, Citibank, those particular companies, HSBC, that come in, they tend to hire them. You know, of course, it's a very low wage compared to what we would make, but it's great for them because the average salary is $40 a month. But the lighter you were, allowed you to get those opportunities to work. So a person with an average salary is $40 a month when they're there, and you're of a lighter Filipino that can come in to a call center and make $200 a month. It's great. So from a tourist perspective, dealing with other nations that are lighter, they tend to cater towards them because they're looking to be able to somehow assimilate with them and get those particular contracts. Now, being that the times that I was there, I immersed myself in the culture. Speaking Tagalog, the time I was there the second time, you know, I can go out, unlike most people, and speak the language and travel. I began to find out they don't particularly like the Caucasians in China. They like us. They're amazed because that takes them back. But in order to survive, they do what they have to do.
Right.
And there was a part that Doc put up when you talked about racism. And I never forgot, and we're talking about Dr. Claude Anderson, you know, Black Labor, White Wealth. And then he had a follow-up book called Powernomics. But in there, I have it on VHS, is how old it is. But he talked about racism. And he says, you have to understand that people like us can never be racist.
That's right.
He says it comes from the root word race, but it means when one race has so much power and control, they can use it to manipulate and control another race. We never had that. So if you want to get electricity, you want to get a job, we don't have that power to do that. Even within our quote unquote so-called own communities, we don't have that because we don't own it. You can go to Chinatown, and it was on 60 Minutes. They have Chinatown. Well, Chinatown had their own police office
That's right.
until they went in there and, busted it up because they were doing other things besides just policing the people or, giving visas, etc. But we never had that power because we never came together to unify to own something, you
Bingo.
know. But these other races and groups do where they can use that. How many times have you seen in the past where you go to a Chinese restaurant and you see a Caucasian or a brother working for them,
I
right?
haven't.
So in a sense, they use racism and they only hire their own, right? So, and that's on a broad scale all the way around. So we don't have that power control to hold another race or harm another race and keep them down. One of the reasons because we're not unified. We can have it when we start looking at Crystal Village. We start looking at the land. You can do that once you get yourself together and keep everything in. But the type people that we are, we invite everyone. There is no such thing for us to be again, we can't be racist, but to try to discriminate. We're all God's people and we love everyone, so we've never used that to kind of benefit us or move us ahead as a culture. So didn't want to talk too long, but those are just my personal experience by being in the Philippines and why they spend so much money on whitening cream and they sell it to them because they want the people who work with them to bring in money. It's more of that's what I have to do to survive. And it trickles down to what? To their kids, et cetera, the children that they have in that situation. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that. Doc, again, great presentation. Over the past couple weeks, it just brings some things to light. And Tracy mentioned it. It's subconsciously we don't even think about it. It's what's portrayed. When people see dark skinned people, they immediately have a fear, right? Because everything is not just from a distance. What do you see, right? So you see the eyes, and then you don't see them until you get up close. And then when you get up close, you can now see the features, and it puts you at ease. But when you're not integrated with that person and you're staying off, yeah, it's just gonna look like, okay, yeah, I'm a little fearful, right? Because I can't see what I want to see. I can't read that person. I can't read their facial expressions from far away. But as they get closer, they're more intimate, then they understand, okay, and they mention it in there like, oh, now that I got close to them, now you can now see the person for who they are. You can see their expressions and see that, I don't need to worry about my safety in a sense. So these are just some of the things subconsciously people don't really think about. It's just what's known. It's, you get into an elevator, what they do, they grab the purse or they move to the side, things of that nature. But we go through it, and it's just something that's there. But I did want to touch on that racism. Dr. Claude Anderson, he put that in perspective for me probably in 19, it must have been 1993, 94. That was he was in California at a church when he spoke, when he actually broke that down.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much, Brother
Brother
Mark.
Mark.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you mentioned Dr. Anderson, because I actually tried to get in touch with him. I wanted him to come and speak. I haven't got a response, but I only tried one time. But you're absolutely right. When it comes to, the Hispanics will take care of their own. The Asians will take care of their own. The Jews will take care of their own. Other groups will take care of their own. But for some reason, like I said, we love everybody. However, like I said, from the very beginning, have to cater to the least common denominator. We need we need more at this point in time. So it's just like you may have 5 children, okay, and all 4 of them are doing fine, but you have one who needs your more attention at that point in time than the others do. It doesn't mean that you don't love the others. It's just that that child needs you more, needs something in addition to. So you can't just say, oh, well, we just everything applies to all of them. So, and like you mentioned, Claude, Dr. Claude Anderson, when he said that when you just put everything for everybody, that's how we end up losing all the time because there's nothing there, especially for us to help us. We need to help each other. But remember when I talked about that's why I showed all the billionaires that we have. Okay, we don't have as much comparatively, but we have folks out there who have millions, who have hundreds of millions, who have money. If we just all learn to network and pull everything together and help each other and get out of the selfishness that it seems like a lot of us have. And that's one of the key things. And I just want to say one last thing when it comes to myself, as far as with the colorism and all the things I had to work through. And my daughter will attest to this. Then she'll give you an example. I went through life with a lot of things I didn't realize. That's why I encountered a lot of things I did. Okay. And it had to take me back later, exploring all these issues and what have you, to realize, because I knew about like racism, but as far as the colorism, I didn't realize that also was impacting me with a lot of things that are detriments, a lot of things that I encountered. And I want Tracy to give the one example. And I was totally oblivious, but until she told me, and then it's like I said, even with that during that time, it was a disappointment, but because I've been through so much in my life, it doesn't really hurt at that time. But I forgot what year it was, but Tracy can give you the example, and then we can, and let Sister Carmela see if she has any comments, and then we can dismiss.
Yeah, Sister Carmela actually had to leave. She has her appointment she had to get to,
Right.
and her internet also keeps kicking her off. So,
okay.
But yeah, this was, I believe, it was 2020. It wasn't too long ago. It wasn't 1820. It was 2020, and it was unfortunate. It was the Wynn Casino. I have no problem calling them out. The Wynn Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada, and they were hiring for poker dealers. My mom and I used to deal poker, and we were going there to just a pre-meeting to schedule the audition to deal poker. And she and I were at the end of the line. We just got there late. So we were at the end of the line, and I was watching each person that went in, because I'm just observant like that. And I was watching each person that went in, and I saw by what they said that each one that went in, they were given their audition date when they were supposed to go and do their poker audition. It got to me. I went in there. I met with it was a young Hispanic guy that was the one that was scheduling these auditions. And he straight out told me, your friend out there, he didn't know that was my mom. He said, your friend out there, she's not going to get an audition, but I want you to pretty yourself up like Cinderella, do your hair pretty up like Cinderella. And, she's not going to get an audition, but if you tell her anything, then you won't get an audition. I didn't say anything. I just shook my head because I already knew that I was going to report him and demand that he be fired right then and there. I don't care what anybody says. People can make excuses for why he is this and that. No, I watched each person that went in there. I saw heavyset people. I saw younger people. I saw older people. I saw Black men, melanated men. I saw Caucasian men, Caucasian women, Hispanic men, Hispanic women, all sizes, all shapes. Only thing I didn't see was a melanated woman. And my mom at the time had a short natural hair. And, and so he's telling me that, and I just left out. My mom went in after me, and she came out smiling. And I asked her, what did he say to you? And she said, oh, he told me they don't, they're not hiring right now for that. They don't have the openings. They're not hiring right now, but he'll definitely keep me in mind for, when they are. Isn't that? And then she kind of paused because she saw my expression, this brokenhearted look on my face. And she said, isn't that what he told you? And I said, no. And I told her exactly what he had said. And, to this day, that still breaks my heart. That's just one of many things I personally have experienced. And my mom, things that she's been through because of colorism, because she and I have worked different places together, dealing poker, doing our nonprofits, things like that. So I've seen firsthand the way she's been treated. And even now it upsets me and infuriates me that, like my brother Mark talked about, how the Philippines, they wouldn't get the opportunity to work because of their skin tone. This piece of trash wasn't going to allow my mom to get an opportunity just to audition to deal poker, which she was uber experienced for, just because of her melanated skin, and maybe he didn't like her hair texture. And it blows my mind, and it still infuriates me. And I'm sorry, I have to calm down, but I get sick and tired of things like that. And things happen. As we do as people, we move on, we go on, we get over it. But to this day, I wish I had just went in there and, I was going to come back and you know, kind of like set him up, record him so that I could get it on tape. Because as we know, if we don't have it written in blood that, oh yeah, I'm doing this to her because of XYZ, then it didn't happen and it's not discrimination. So I was going to plan to set him up, but as we as a people do, we move on to the next thing, to the next job, the next opportunity, we go on. But I'm just so brokenhearted at that he wasn't going to give her the opportunity. We all talk about equal opportunity. He wasn't going to give her that equal opportunity just to audition because he was afraid that she would pass the audition and would be a dealer at the Wynn Casino. And so he'll reap the consequences, the karma, the whatever you want to call it for what he did. He won't get away with it. And that's just one of many I've experienced with her. And as you can see, I'm the one that is angry. You can call it bitter, you can call it negative, pessimist, whatever. But I'm the one that's angry at the experiences my mom has been through because she is so amazing and talented and gifted times a million. And to see her be treated the way she has, even tribal members that were a part of us, once they saw her chocolate skin, all of a sudden now the respect level went away. They devalued her. Oh, they found any little lame reason to leave once they saw what she looked like. Even those that had the same skin complexion as her, still, you're chocolate, and all of a sudden now you're devalued and you're less than. And, you know, let me use any lame excuse for why I'm going to leave and run away and not be a part anymore. But know that things like this are important to expose it so that you can heal from it, so that it can stop, so that people can grow up, bring back humanity, bring back love, bring back peace, and just give everyone a chance to live in love, in peace. I yield.
And so it shall be written, so it shall be done. It will take place. And I am the eternal optimist. So I do know that our people are not completely lost. And a lot of times you just have to put things out there for people. I'm a firm believer in that when the student is ready, the teacher will be there for them, okay? The teacher is always there to show up, but the student has to be ready. So we do these podcasts and we do the teachings, everything we put out there. And so we have a lot of crooked sticks out there. So we're laying the straight sticks. Okay. So we're showing them, even though we're telling them, we're showing them. So, and I appreciate everybody who has participated. I appreciate you, Brother Mark, very so much for so many things. Okay. This is just one of them, for your support. And so my daughter, I love her so much, so dearly, and I appreciate her. She's always one that I always can depend on. And so with that, we are going to end the podcast. And be safe, be healthy. Okay.
Peace and love, everyone.
Peace and love. All right.